Okay, so why are dividend stocks, in my opinion, the best stocks that you can purchase on the stock market? Well, there's a very simple reason for this. If a company is paying a dividend, that means that they are making so much money that they can pay you to invest in their business. They're going to share their profits with you. Now, what does that basically mean? Well, usually with dividend stocks, they have been around usually for a little while. They've been around for a long time. So they have a dedicated customer base that will basically continue to come back. A very good example of this is Apple. Apple pays a very small dividend, but what they do is they do a lot of share buybacks as well. They do that because they think that their stock is cheap, but they want to reward you because they're making a killing on their products. And their products are not just buying an iPhone or a MacBook. Their products is the iCloud as well. The iCloud is basically a guaranteed income to their business. Because when we start paying for iCloud, we just don't stop. And what happens is we fill it up, we obviously don't delete the old stuff, and then we have to buy even more storage, and more, and more. Things like videos will always just take up more and more space on the iCloud. iPhones are now doing 4K, and I can almost assume in a few years they're going to be doing 8K, which then means that they're going to be, again, needing more and more storage. This is why Apple is such a very safe business to invest in, but also allows them to pay the dividend because they know they're going to continue to make income. Same as banks. Canadian and American banks pay dividends. The one benefit to a Canadian bank versus an American bank is the Canadian banks have never, at least the big six, have never lowered their dividend over the past 100+ years, unlike the Americans where a lot of their banks had to cut their dividends to either zero or basically zero during the 2008-2009 crash. So Canadian banks in that aspect might be a bit safer than American banks. However, what allows a bank to make a ton of money? What allows them to make so much money is because people like me and you have a bank account. And if you don't have enough money in that bank account, they charge you an account fee. And then for people who may have enough money in the account and they want to start investing their money in, let's say, ETFs or mutual funds, they take an MER, a management fee, so that they continue to basically take your money. This is how banks make money. They make money off of your money. That's their service. And they know that, well, if you go to somebody else, you'll probably eventually be back. And if you don't, there's going to be somebody else coming up that will be in their bank. So, what does this basically tell us? Companies that we can't live without, banks, Apple, telecommunication companies, we can't live without them. Oil companies, technically, we can't live without them. I don't care what people say about green technology, we're going to be needing oil for a very long time. How else are we going to be making plastic? There's everything plastic. Look, Apple Watch, plastic. This stuff, probably plastic. All of this is plastic. Literally, almost everything in this room, even that curtain, has plastic in it. So, what does that tell you? Oil companies are going to be safe. Oil prices are going to fluctuate, but generally speaking, I wouldn't be investing long term in an oil company. I would be playing the little jumps that happen because of oil nations and, of course, different governments around the world. So, what does this tell us? Dividend companies are safe. It's not like if you're investing in a new startup, you're like, hey man, I heard some great stuff about this weed company, I'm going to invest 100 grand in it. You could do that if you've got a couple mil, but when it comes down to it, like you can't, if you've got money, if you worked your butt off, if you actually work, work a job that's like in a factory, or you're like busting your butt just to make money, and you want to go and spend that money on a company that may not have income yet, that's risky. There's Tesla, and you can bet on Elon Musk. I've done that. Pretty much everyone's done that. But that company is literally the future. They're having robots, cars, and self-driving. There's going to be a subscription service. There already is, I think. But either way, like, you just have to find companies that, wow, that's going to make a killing. Or a company that just had an IPO and it sells weed. There's 6 trillion other weed companies. Are they doing anything special? No. Then why would I invest in that company? So it's like in basketball. Yeah, I'm wearing a basketball shirt. I coach at Churchill. But when we look at, let's say in basketball, a certain position, let's say a point guard. And when I went down to the NBA Development League to play, the coach said one thing to me that really made me change my mind. And that was, point guards are a dime a dozen. Which means that we can literally look anywhere in the world and we can find somebody who is between 5'11" and 6'3", who can handle the ball, shoot the ball, and pass the ball. That's the 3 things that every single guard can do, and pretty much there's a million people in the world who can do that at a competent level. It's what you can do separately that everyone else doesn't do. So for me, it was playing big, being an aggressor, just trying to get that board. I don't care that I'm 6'2", and I was able to shoot, pass, dribble at a somewhat competent level. But I was also pretty solid at defense. I would not let players get by me. That's why I had a chance. So, when you look at stocks, and you're looking at a stock where there's a trillion other businesses that do the exact same thing, look at that business and say, what are you doing differently that nobody else is doing? If you're not doing anything different and there's like 16 other companies that do the exact same thing, then that company is either going to get bought out, or they're going to close, or they're going to be not really growing their revenue past or over what would be expected of the overall industry. So if the industry was expected to go up 10% next year and they only go up 8 or 9 or 10%, while another company that does the exact same thing, their business went up 35%, maybe they're doing something differently that maybe they're not really publicizing, or they're just a better company overall. So these are the things that we need to look at as investors. Are they making money? Do they have an income source that's not going to go away anytime soon? And also, if it's a riskier business, are they doing something different than any other business in their sector is doing? That is why I like dividend stocks, because they pay me a lot of money to invest in them, and that allows me in future years to not have to worry about working. I run my own business now, so don't have to worry about people bossing me around. But either way, I still have to boss myself around. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.